Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Marilyn Jackson, CEO and President of the Muhammad Ali Center. We are so excited to have partners from all around Kentuckiana join us today to kick off this year's Cultural Pass. The Muhammad Ali Center is proud to be part of this program, and we hope many young people and families use the Cultural Pass this summer to explore everything the center has to offer. Muhammad Ali was known the world over as a humanitarian and as the greatest boxer of all time, but his greatness was born here in Louisville. When he spoke of home, he spoke of this place. The love he had for his community was born at a young age and guided his life. And when it was time to start his center, he chose Louisville. So we hope that kids and families around Louisville can come and learn about their native son and share in his goal for a more compassionate and just world. But now it's my pleasure to introduce one of our Cultural Pass partners, Fund for the Arts President and CEO, Andre Kimo Stone Guess.
Thank you, Marilyn. We appreciate you bringing the Ali Center back to be a part of Cultural Pass this year. You know, the timing of this press conference is really fitting for me because I turned 1 year old on Thursday. So I started I'm actually on solid foods right now. I can get around without really holding on to things. But when I started, there were two things that I began working on immediately. One was the mural project for those 3 murals you see, where am I at? On the side of our building, which is in the one on the garage. I'm disoriented, but it's back there, the Ali mural project, and also Cultural Pass. And one of the things that I quickly learned is that the Cultural Pass is one of the things, particularly in the arts community, that really works. It works as it was designed to do, something that was incubated by the city that it still supports, and then was given to the Fund for the Arts and the Arts and Cultural Alliance to work on together. And it's one of the things that we should be proud of because it's unlike anything else that's going on in the country, where you have families and young people, 21 years or younger, having free access, summer access to 57 arts and cultural institutions. And that's really, really important because at the Fund for the Arts, we believe that arts are a right, not a privilege, because we believe that art is one of the most fundamental expressions of the human condition we know. And I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret, that from the beginning of time, every human being on the planet actually creates and consumes art every day. You don't believe me? Who in here sang in the shower this morning? Come on, I know somebody sang in the shower this morning. Exactly, don't be ashamed. If you hummed on the way here, if you did a little dance to go get your creamer out of the refrigerator, if you did something in the car, creative, anything that is an artistic expression of the human condition is artistic. And as a result of that, every one of us is an artist. I am an artist. And we have an initiative that we're launching in June that we want everyone in our city to say loudly and proudly that they are an artist and stand up and say what their art is. And we make this possible by widening the lens of what we see art is. It's not just music, dance, theater, and visual arts and literary arts. It's cake decorating, it's wood turning, it's anything. I matched my outfit this morning. It's artistic, so I am an artist. And so we are thrilled to be here today to announce that for the 9th year in a row, the Cultural Pass is available to children and families in Jefferson and Bullitt counties in Kentucky, and Clark, Floyd, and Harrison counties in Indiana. And this would not be possible. This would not be possible without the support of some very, very important individuals and sponsors. Mayor Greg Fisher is the brainchild of this, the Caesars Foundation of Floyd County, the Hazel and Walter T. Bales Foundation, and COSAIR Charities. And as I said before, this is something that just works, and we are proud to be a part of it, and you should be proud to be a part of it as a citizen of this community and being a part of the greater community with Southern Indiana. So I know you didn't come here to hear me go on and on about being an artist. We're gonna bring the man of the hour up here, Mayor Greg Fisher. Mayor Greg Fisher, I want you to come up because, put that up for now. We got something we gotta deal with. Come on over and stand next to me. Now, like I said, 9 years ago, you came up with this idea. And I'm not sure if you saw it becoming what it is right now, but I want to thank you on behalf of the entire community. On behalf of the libraries, Arts and Cultural Alliance, and the Fund for the Arts, we want to present you with a symbol of our gratitude that will complete your final year with Cultural Pass. Kristen Anderson. And, and before I take my seat, I want to make sure that I thank two important people who do all the work behind the scenes to make this happen. That's Janelle Renee Dunn and Sarah Lindgren, who we stole from the city, who's been a part of this since its inception. Thank you, Mayor Fisher.
Thank you, Andre. Well, the reality is, when you, as mayor, as long as I am, or hopefully it doesn't take too long to figure out, but you see talent is equally spread throughout the community, but opportunity is not. And that's just not right. And so that led ultimately to what we now know as the cultural pass, and how important each and every day is in our city to make the city a better place. But when you're growing up and you don't have an opportunity to learn something new every day, or an act of kindness or compassion every day, you really fall behind. And the reality is in the summertime, a lot of our kids that are under-resourced don't have the opportunity to learn and experience the joy of art or music or whatever it might be. So we started a process early on in my administration to come up with a vision for 2020, and that's would have been in 2011. And I asked some of our great leaders in the city to come together. It could be somebody that was a woman on the street, or it could have been somebody that was the leading futurist here in our city, to create a couple of different ideas about what we could do as we look forward to the year 2020. And one of the committees was our creative committee for Vision Louisville. And I was fortunate in that Professor Nat Irvin here agreed to chair that committee and see where we could come up with. And one of the ideas that Nat in the committee came up with was the cultural pass. So you're saying all these nice things about me. I appreciate that. But really, it was Nat and his team that came up with the cultural pass. And it's one of these things now when people will ask me, it's like, Mayor, have you heard of the cultural pass before? You know, and that's when I know it's sticking in the city. You know, when it's gotten bigger than just when we launched it, Nat, back in the day, it's now so much richer in so many different ways. So before I go on, I'd like to ask Nat Irvin to come up and share a few words with us about the reality of the cultural pass and the promise of the cultural pass. Please welcome Professor Nat Irvin.
Greg, thank you very much. And Andre and Marilyn, good to see you all. Just a couple of thoughts about the cultural pass. My wife and I have been, for the past 10 days, we have been hosting our granddaughter, Georgie. She is 2.5 years old. They're here from Los Angeles. She is, right? And so I have been in the mind of a child for 10 days. And thinking back on the idea of the cultural pass, as Greg just mentioned, here's the premise that we were thinking about wrestling with and looking at the year 2020. When you think about children, they don't give themselves names. We do. They have no responsibility about where they're born. That's something that adults do. They don't get to choose the schools that they attend. They don't get to do any of that. That's basically something that we do. And so one of the things that's built into the way that we think about our economy and our community is there's certain things that we as adults can do to ensure a better outcome for those forces of which children have no power over. And so the idea that over time, and you know, I think as a futurist, always long term, the idea that we could have something built into the structure that would make it so that some children at the other end will be unequal in terms of their experiences, that's what the cultural pass is designed to do, to say, wait a minute, a kid who's just born should have the same experiences as any other child. And that's what this community has done by embracing the cultural pass. So now, some point in time, some child's going to be asked some question about science. And they'll have an answer. And they'll have an answer because they've had the experience. As Andre said about art, you know, I'm an MBA professor, but I also have a doctorate in music, composition. So art just transcends everything. And what the cultural pass does is it inspires children to think and to imagine. Our little Georgia this morning told 2 stories. First she said was, why did the chicken cross the road? She's 2.5. And then she waits for you to say, to get to the other side if you say the wrong answer. And then she laughs. What's black and white and red all over? Then she says the newspaper, just laughing. And you know that that's the imagination that we children have, and what the Cultural Pass does is it builds upon that imagination. A community like ours is a reflection of the Cultural Pass. And I'm so happy that after all these years, we can walk around the community and we can see little children who have no idea where the Cultural Pass came from. But all they know is they get to go to the Science Center, they get to read books, and 10 years from now, just thinking about this, over time, those children in our community change. They are invested deeply into their own community. And it's because of the support of the funders, institutions like the Ali Center, and all those who are listed in the program who made it possible. That's the success of the Cultural Pass. So, Greg, thank you so much for your warm words, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you for taking that call 12 years ago, Nat. We appreciate you. Now, we were poor back then. We were in the recession. We didn't have much money. Louisville Metro government put on the initial funding, which was $20,000, to help launch the program, and the Cultural Pass obviously has reached, is vastly expanded, and its popularity has grown every year as well. We started with 20 participants the first year, 20 participating venues. This year, we're up to 60. So that's a lot, especially for participating here during the summer. So places like the Speed Museum, Actors Theater, Roots 101, African American Museum, Bernheim Forest, and of course this great institution here at the Muhammad Ali Center. So that's about 6 cultural institutions where young people from age 0 to 21 can get free access and have a unique and enriching experience. I love talking to the moms in the summertime that they'll have their Cultural Pass and say, "This has made our summer. We wouldn't have been able to do this were it not for the Cultural Pass," and see how they light up and their kids light up is what it's all about. Over the past 8 years, we have provided a total of nearly 260,000 passes to young people in Louisville and the surrounding region for the Cultural Pass. So almost 250,000 people have taken advantage of the Cultural Pass. I mean, that deserves a little love. Come on. So I want to thank some of our great partners. Obviously, the library is amazing, the Fund for the Arts, the Arts and Cultural Alliance, and a host of sponsors who make this possible year after year. New people, more people come on with more money every year. And one of the pillars of my administration from day one has been to make Louisville a city of lifelong learning. And that's not just about college or high school. It's for our little kids who have the joy of learning and those open minds. And the more we stimulate them at a younger age, the more powerful they're going to be able to be to make the world a more interesting place and a kinder place as well. So this Cultural Pass was built all around the concept of equity, to making sure people that traditionally have not had access have unlimited access, and this program helps stem summer learning loss as well. Been a real challenge in normal times, much less during the pandemic times, and that summer learning loss, really when you get back to school, it forces teachers to spend precious class time early in the school year reviewing material, which puts students, especially those already struggling, further and further behind. And obviously that it impacts each and every one of us, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that we are doing and making an impact in our community. So I'm pleased to say that the kids who grew up with access to the Cultural Pass program today, through our Evolve 502 initiative, have access to college tuition-free at any Kentucky Community and Technical College, including JCTC, or at Simmons College of Kentucky. So, you know, if you're around me, almost every speech I talk about Evolve 502, because this will be one of the greatest things that we've been able to do in our administration, to think that every kid in public school now, JCPS, has no barrier, no financial barrier to getting a post-secondary degree or a credential through Evolve 502. So if you don't know Evolve 502, please print that in your head, and every time you're talking to a JCPS family, ask them about that, because when somebody says, "I don't know if we can afford college," or "I don't know," you can't afford not to go to college. But now there's no cost because of Evolve 502. And we know the number one disruptor of poverty is a post-secondary credential or a degree. So when we put together the Cultural Pass with Evolve 502, it is a whole different future for the families in our community. And I'm really proud and really grateful for all the folks that have come together to make this happen. Metro government certainly has been a big part of that, but we could not do it without all of the partners we have, both in the nonprofit sector, the educational sector, and obviously the for-profit sector as well. Now, another example of Cultural Pass is a summer reading program at the Louisville Free Public Libraries. This is a free 10-week program that offers prizes and incentives to encourage kids up to 12th grade to read for fun over the summer. And I think probably most people in this room are like me that, man, when you have a good book, especially as a kid, you don't need to travel on vacation. It's you in the book right in front of you, or the iPad, whatever it is right now. So the more we can do to encourage reading, the better our community and our people are going to be as well. Over the last 12 years, nearly 300,000 kids and teens have completed the program, reading more than 3 million books in our community. That's fun just to think about, 3 million books. So when do we start, Cleo? Both the Cultural Pass and the Summer Reading program start tomorrow, June the 1st. Louisville residents can register for both by going to lfpl.org or stopping by any branch of the Louisville Free Public Library. I also want to remind you that there's a wealth of activities available for kids this summer, including camps and arts and recreation programs at our parks and community centers, educational programs at the Louisville Zoo, and so much more. We've funded more than we ever had out-of-school time activity in the summertime in the evening hours at our community centers. So if somebody's telling you there's not anything to do during the summer, help them. There's an awful lot to do at our community centers and all of our arts institutions as well. So lots and lots of ways to keep people engaged. So in closing, I want to thank Kristen Anderson, Advocacy and Impact Chair of the Arts and Culture Alliance and Executive Director of Louisville Visual Arts. Thank you, Christian. Janelle Renee Dunn, a.k.a. JR, who leads the organization and implementation of the Cultural Pass. Fund for the Arts and its president and CEO, Andre Kimo Stone, guest, world-renowned artist. You are matching me. That wasn't too hard to do, man. I'm telling you, okay? Marilyn Jackson, president and CEO of the Muhammad Ali Center, for hosting us here today and participating in the Cultural Pass. And of course, Muhammad had many gifts, Marilyn, but one of those was he was an artist too. Not just as an athlete, but he penned to paper, and he loved being an artist. And of course, all of our partners who make these outstanding programs possible. Jessica Kincaid, I want to recognize her, who runs our Committee on Public Art and really runs all of our things artistic. Thank you so much. And I last want to recognize the sponsors: Caesars Foundation of Floyd County, the Hazel and Walter T. Bales Foundation, and Corsair Charities. We couldn't do it without them, so thank you all, and let's take advantage of an active and enriching summer. All right, enjoy. Let's see, am I supposed to introduce? Okay, very good. Well, next up, this is a regional effort we have, so we're really happy to have Floyd County represented today with their library system, and Melissa Merida. Melissa Merida. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
All right, welcome.
Hello, I am thrilled and honored to represent the 6 library systems who make the actual physical Cultural Pass available to our communities. About 5 years ago, the wonderful city of Louisville offered this program to surrounding counties. So there are 6 various library organizations that you can receive your pass at, representing over 30 locations when you add up all of our branches and our availability points, accessibility points. So once you get your pass, which is available to ages 0 through 21, the arts world and the local museums are open for your enjoyment. Additionally, each of the library systems represented promote summer reading and offer a rich amount of summer reading programs, of summer reading incentives to get your child reading and to keep those summer reading skills up throughout their time away from school. To sign up for the Cultural Pass, just visit one of your local libraries. We're looking forward to seeing you all summer long. Next, I would like to introduce Kristen Anderson, the Advocacy Chair at the Arts and Culturals Association.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here to represent the nearly 100 venues of the Arts and Culture Alliance, and it's a very diverse group of people. I want to start off by thanking Marilyn Jackson in the center, the Fund for the Arts, the mayor, and all of our library systems that are participating. The hat that I am wearing today, again, is representing 100 cultural institutions. I'm the executive director of Louisville Visual Art by day. I am also a parent with an 11-year-old son, and I put this shirt on today, so I'm an artist today, Andre, so thank you. And so whether it's guided tours, hands-on art-making activities, or unique performances, the Cultural Pass program has something that will connect with all of the youth of the greater Louisville area. But it's not just about getting a summer filled with amazing activities and filling up a kid's time card. This program reinforces and stretches their creative muscles and gets them to grow as artists and creatives. We are excited that this year that we will continue to be as accessible and inclusive as possible by offering 3 different ways to engage with the pass. The first is what you're probably familiar with. These are in-person events. I know like my friends at the Carnegie Center who are here are doing in-person. LVA is doing an in-person one. If you want to come down and teach your kids to make a zine, a little cartoon drawing program, we've got that. We also will have some online digital experiences, and those will be sent to your press packs later, so you'll have a chance to follow up and air those. And then last but not least, we have 3 Cultural Pass days happening, and these happen on the first Saturday of each month in June, July, and August in Kentucky and southern Indiana. So there's no excuse not to be able to get out. There's always going to be a space, whether it's in person or online. They're free and accessible at 58 venues, so take advantage, punch as many of those punches as you can. I hope to see so many of you down at LVA and punching your card with your kids and putting the smile on their faces. Thank you, everyone, for being here today, and that concludes the conference.